I'm Laura Rogers reporting from the Microsoft 365 Community Conference in Las Vegas, here in the community area. And I'm talking with Jamal Little from Microsoft. Hello, Jamal.
Hey, how are you doing?
Great. So what is your role at Microsoft?
Yes, I am a product marketing manager for Microsoft 365 Copilot, and I'm really focused on creator engagement and building brand love for Copilot.
Great. And you just had a session that
Yes.
what was that about and
Yes.
how did it go?
It went really well. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So we had a session with Shane Young and Jack Rowbotham, really focused on how do organizations think about adopting Copilot and what are the things that they're hearing from their audience and companies that they consult with.
Did you have any big moments in your session or great questions people asked?
Really just breaking down the differences between the consumer version of Copilot, what Microsoft 365 Copilot is, and what Copilot Chat is, and understanding the difference between the three and what organizations might have what and when you're thinking about M365 Copilot and then Copilot Chat.
So I love the concept of Copilot adoption, and it's fascinating to me to think about how do you get just an end user sitting at their desk doing their work, how do you get them to think about Copilot, remember Copilot? A lot of the times when you think about, what I do is I always want to make my life more efficient. I love building workflows. I'm lazy. I like automating my job. So how do you get those end users to kind of adjust their mindset, like their general mindset to say, let me think of a way that I can make my life more efficient.
Yes.
And think about Copilot.
That's actually one of the questions we asked, and we came back to that concept a couple times throughout the session. The first is really taking the time to change, like you said, mindset earlier, changing that and switching it to think through, if I'm approaching a task, how should I think about Copilot helping, or AI helping me with this task? And then also spending the time to do that every day, so you're building that muscle of how do I work with AI generally to just talk to it, get the outputs I want, because a good prompt in means a good output out. And it could be like thinking through general life things to work, but just building the muscle of using AI to solve your problems. Similar to what we did way back when you learned about Google and you had to learn how to Google something. It's like going from Chinese restaurant near me versus I'm looking for this particular restaurant that has this style with in this zone to accommodate this many people. Can you help me find something? So really going from really small kind of search engine entries to full prompts.
Just give it as much information as possible.
The context it needs to do its job is really important.
Great.
Yeah.
So when I think about just things in Copilot that are really obvious and jump out at me just when I'm doing my work all day, helping me write an email is one of the things that is the most common.
Right.
So besides, just having it help me write an email, what are some of the most common places people are starting to really adopt Copilot or prompts that they're using?
Yes, I can talk two ways. First is within apps. First, I think Teams is the big one. So you often hear meeting overload. I'm in way too many meetings, especially since the pandemic. It's just meetings stacking on top of the other. With Copilot, you now have the luxury to not attend those meetings and feel you don't have that fear of missing out. But we actually say now it's JOMO. You have the joy of missing out. So it's understanding hey, I'm okay passing on this meeting, and I can catch up on Copilot later and get the notes and action items from that. And now you can go into Copilot and ask follow-up questions yeah, I see these action items, but I'm not sure when the deadlines are, when we're asking people to have those. So you can get more clarity and color within Copilot going back and forth using that transcript. And I also love it, Teams, Copilot in Teams now, so I'm not worried about taking notes. I just have it in Teams. I am fully engaged in the meeting, and I know, hey, I might have missed that. I can catch up with Copilot later. So that's the one thing when you're thinking about the apps. But on the flip side of that, I think it's really as you're thinking about how can I get the most value of Copilot, I talked about those tasks earlier and how can I approach a task with Copilot. It's really looking at different departments when you're thinking about organizations. And so if I'm a marketer, what things do marketers do that we can now apply an AI mindset to use those and reinvent these processes? Or if you're in the legal field, what are these things that are routine, mundane that I can then apply AI to and think about reinventing these certain processes.
I love that. I think that's really important to find like those specific people in those roles.
Exactly.
And find those pain points and get to them
Yeah.
and figure out how to make their lives more efficient. When you are writing prompts, so when I write prompts, one of the things I've been getting in the habit of doing is tell AI to ask me more questions.
Oh.
Is there something that you commonly do or commonly add when you're writing prompts yourself?
Yes, I often use Copilot for content creation. So one of my favorite things, in addition to Teams, is just going from a blank page to something to react to and then iterate and build off of. And so I think with that, one of the things I always do is I always ask it for tone and making sure it's at the right elevation for who I'm speaking to. So I give it as much context as possible for that output that I need. So if I'm drafting an email for some exec comms or whatever, I'm like, I need this email to say this based off of a previous email that I've identified that resonated well or worked, and say I need it for this level. I want it to be succinct and professional. And so really giving it the context it needs in terms of like who I'm speaking to and then the tone. So those are my two favorite tips.
Oh, great. I'm going to definitely have to try that.
Yeah.
Try to do that. So if you could say just one or two sentences to the people attending this conference who not really sure if they are going to adopt Copilot or not, to get them to go ahead and invest in it, what would you say to them?
Use the product. It's really all about usage, playing with the product, understanding it, taking that time to build that muscle, I think is the biggest thing. Because a lot of people are like, man, I don't know where to start. Like for a couple, like the two of us who work in this space, we're so familiar. It's like, oh yeah, like this makes so much sense to me. But for an average end user or information worker, it's pretty daunting to think about. Like, I know what Copilot is. I think I understand like how it works in the broader sense of things. When it applies to work, I just don't know what to do. And it's really about just taking time to explore the product, use it, find those use cases, and to really just kind of understand, oh, I can think about Copilot doing this. I might have missed this meeting. Maybe I can use it to find the notes, and then I can ask it follow-up questions, and I can link it to something else with that action item that I might need, go to Word and say, hey, can you help me draft this document based off of these meeting notes and all this stuff. So really, in an ideal world, it's going from individual tasks with building end-to-end workflows with the help of Copilot in the Copilot chat experience, but also within the apps.
Oh, wow, that's great. Tying it all together.
Exactly.
So to kind of wrap it up, just kind of on the lighter side, what is something kind of fun that you like to do? I like to get Copilot to create recipes for me.
Yes.
What do you like?
It's very similar for me. I love using Copilot as my sous chef. So if I'm cooking and I live alone, so I'm cooking at home, and a lot of recipes are like, I don't know, it feeds 4 to 6 people, and it's like I only need it to feed like 1 to 3, and so I'll use it as I'm cooking. It's like, hey, the recipe says this, but I have this. I talk to it. Can you help me kind of like iterate there? What should I do? Or it's like in tablespoons, and I have teaspoons. How many is like this? And it's so helpful as I'm like in the flow of cooking to keep going back within that chat versus like having multiple disparate kind of.
Great, just
content.
having a conversation
Exactly,
with it.
it's really having
that's
a
so
conversation.
Fun. All right, well, it's been great talking to you, Jamal. And you can see more of this content on the Microsoft Community Learning channel on YouTube.